Hello, internet friends. I'm Ryan, and this is Demos in the Dark. And we are doing something kind of interesting tonight because I recently learned a new trick to do with the electronic audio experiments model feT. Model feT is a beloved pedal that has been on the market for a little while now, and I have used it and I thought I understood how to use it, but I was having a conversation with John from Electronic Audio Experiments, and he told me something that kind of blew my mind.
So the Model feT is a recreation of the infamous Sun Model T. It's kind of like a Marshall Super Bass, but with even more gain and more low end and a really ferocious, kind of big and hi-fi response. It's a great pedal platform for heavier styles of music, but it was even used by some legends in early rock and roll and blues as well. So what makes the Model feT special is that it's an emulation of the complete amplifier from the preamp all the way through to the power amp. This means that it's got the full tone stack, the bass, mid-range, and treble controls from the original amp. Now, this is really useful if you're using a big mid-range heavy or flat amp like an Ampeg or an Orange. But if you run this into something like a Fender Twin or a typical Marshall, it might be a little bit scooped because you're basically duplicating the same mid-scooped tone stack twice. Cutting a little bit of mids is actually nice on guitar. It emphasizes your sort of low-end heft and the more sparkly treble mid-range, but too much is not a good thing.
Now, this part here is what really caught my attention.
So in order to get around this, you can actually use the effects return on your amplifier, which will let you go directly into the power amplifier, therefore substituting the tone of the Model feT in place of your original preamp. You can even take this one step further by using a dedicated power amp or even a solid state like Class D power amp where you can get up to thousands of watts of power for very cheap. Now the other way to go in a recording context would be to use an impulse response. So you can run the Model feT direct into your interface and then use any number of IR loaders to get the sound of your desired cabinet, speaker, and microphone. So a lot of options in this thing, and Ryan's going to show you how it all works.
So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this Model feT and run it down on a mix in the effects loop of this Benson Amps Vincent. Then come on back here and we will compare the sounds between running in the loop and running through the front of the amp. compare the sound of running direct into the front of the amp as opposed to running in the effects loop, I am using this Benson Amps Vincent and an Abernethy Sonic Empress, which sounds like this. All right, so I have it running into the input jack of the amp right now. So let's go straight into the front of the amp and grab a couple of sounds. Now for the fun part, we are going to go into the effects loop. We're going to do it a little bit of a different way. So we are going into the pedal here, and then we're going out of the pedal and into the receive jack of the effects loop. It's a little bit different way of using the effects loop, but what it does is it bypasses the preamp section on the Vincent completely. So now this is our preamp. So let's check it out. you go. The effects loop. Who knew? Certainly not me. I never would have tried that. It kind of flies in the face of everything that you have been told about the effects loop. You put time-based effects in there. You put reverbs in there. You put modulation in there, but you do not put dirt in there. I beg to differ. So thanks, John, for giving me that little tidbit of information that has changed the way I look at this pedal forever, because I will always be running it into the effects loop. And thank you for your time.